Alright, so my name is Kayla Ruffner, and today I'm going to kind of explain to you why I chose my major and kind of like how I've grown as a undergrad within my major and where I'm going to be going the next steps after graduation and then further down the road to kind of give you an insight into why I decided to do this for my commencement speech. So I am an exercise science major. I'm also a business administration minor, and I'll kind of touch on that a little bit later about why I'm total opposites with my major and my minor. So basically, what is exercise science? So it's mostly referenced to as exercise physiology or kinesiology. So on campus, we reference it to exercise science, kind of in layman's terms to kind of get more students involved and intrigued of what our major is. And most grad schools and PhD doctorate schools consider it exercise physiology or kinesiology. So basically the definition of exercise science is the study of human movement and how your body responds and adapts to physical activity, health, and exercise and sport-related activities. So kind of getting into job availability. So with a bachelor's degree, you can get into many different areas of a career. So for a bachelor's, there's more things like corporate wellness. A lot of people tend to go into personal training, whether it's with sports teams at a high school or middle school setting or in a gym. And then some people do human performance, which is kind of along the lines of personal training, but they're more willing to enhance the performance of an overall human instead of an athlete. So that's where you get into your special populations, your children who probably have not started their sports yet. And then there's also stuff like research assisting, which is basically working in a lab alongside either a professor or other students, learning different ways and being intrigued of a question and reporting back what you find on that question. So now getting into a master's degree. With exercise science, it's kind of cool that you don't have to go get a master's degree, but a lot of the career fields in exercise science and exercise physiology are leaning towards getting a master's degree. And one of them is actually cardiac rehab. For many years, they did not require you to have a master's, and currently within the past 2 years, they now require you to have a master's degree in exercise physiology in order to work alongside a cardiac rehabilitation specialist. So some other degrees with a master's, you can go into pre-health, so like physician assistant, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and those are like actual programs that usually last around 3 to 4 years depending on where you go. Some people go strictly into exercise physiology, which is basically someone who can do human performance training and no basic background on how to help certain populations get to where they want to be, or actually working in a physician's assistant's office, or like I said, a cardiac rehabilitation specialist office. And then some people get into research, which I'll touch on a little bit later, and then most people go to a master's program to then go off and become a full-on doctor or a physician. And then kind of to enlighten you of what Mount's program's like, we have 2 tracks. We have applied track and then a graduate track. So I'm personally on the graduate track, and the reason why I chose graduate track is because when I came in as a first-year student, I wasn't sure where I wanted to be in my future, and the graduate track allowed for a lot more open-ended classes, so I got to take more science instead of apply everything on a get out of school and then go into a job aspect. And I've always wanted to be in some type of a pre-med field, so this is where I found my niche at. And then our applied track is kind of like those who are ready to get into the workforce after they are done completing their bachelor's degree. So kind of getting into why I chose exercise science. Like I said, I wanted to be in some type of the medical field. It wasn't until last year that I realized I want to be more on the research end rather than the clinician end. And you know, maybe within the next few years I decide I want to get my MD as well as my PhD, but we'll see where we go with that. Our major is a lot of hands-on experience. You're not put up into a lab all day, and you kind of get to work one-on-one with not only like your peers, but like other students that are like younger than you, clients that are outside in the real world. Like we worked with clients from the Alliance Hospital. We've also worked with clients of different populations that are either in physical therapy or they just have an issue and they wanted to get better with whatever they had, so they reach out to our professors who are looking to have a personal trainer or someone work with them to get to where they want to be. And it's also awesome to have that our faculty come from very diverse backgrounds. Most of our faculty and staff do have their doctorate, but a lot of us learn differently from everyone because some of them are more specialized in certain areas compared to others. So like some are really into caffeine, you have some that are really into like the woman body and how it works, and then some who are environmental. And then you have the faculty that just know how to get you into school, get you the jobs, they know how to get you organized in order to be successful for your next step. And with exercise science, there's many different opportunities. I've had the privilege of being able to be on multiple research abstracts, which kind of led me into my research passion. And I've completed a lot of data collection within the morning and in the afternoon. I've also been able to go on conferences, which all students have the opportunity to go to. And a lot of us have had internships, whether they were within class or outside of class for a credit. And I've had a passion for exercise and wellness ever since I was able to walk. I was a dancer for 17 years, and ever since I was personally injured about a few years back, it's kind of given me the motivation to give back to find out what's wrong with me and to help those who are battling the same type of issues I have been. So basically my journey now, I prepare myself for my future. I will be attending Cleveland State University for my master's degree, and this developed my passion for research and pure exercise physiology. So a lot of students you'll ask in our major, what do you want to do? A lot of them say PT, OT, PA, or a lot of them say they just want to get into the field with very many different opportunities. And a lot of people don't really say pure exercise physiology. I think there's only 3 of us out of the senior class who are actually doing pure ex phys. So it's kind of like different to get different fields of where everyone wants to go. And I really liked research. I love to find out what's happening, what's going on, make a change in society to kind of give back to clinicians and professors who want to know more about what's going on. And it just all goes back to the literature that gets published that everyone tends to read on a daily basis. So obviously my next step is to go receive my master's in exercise science, and I want to get my master's in business administration. So a lot of people ask me, why do you have a business minor? Well, ever since I came in as a first year, I looked at all the different minors, and I wanted to be a psych minor, but it seemed like a lot of the classes tend to overlap with my major courses. So I found out about the with the business administration minor, and I decided that one day I would like to own my own type of practice. So I figured, well, what's the only way of doing that unless I have the business background? So it wasn't until the past month I decided that I want to continue for an MBA, and I'm also in the process of like a product innovation. So this will give me more step and further input on getting my product onto the market and actually pushing it forward. And so why do I choose a master's degree? For some reason, I love school. I love it, and I like to learn more. And with my future goal, the only way to get there is if you go through more schooling. And actually with a master's degree, you tend to do a lot more within the exercise science world. So it gives me a lot more opportunities to work as I'm going to doc school. So in my future, I've tended to look at, after grad school, I will be going to get my doctorate, and I'll either receive a PhD or MD PhD. Kind of just depends on the route and where I'm at in my life, because it can either take till I'm 30 or maybe longer, depending on where I decide to go. And I'm choosing doctorate school because it's my dream career. I do not want to work in a school setting, but I would like to work in like a hospital, being the head on the research team and actually getting research moving along and working alongside with clinicians. So we're kind of more collaborative instead of, one's one way and one's the other. And I can make a difference in society. I've seen a lot of research help a lot of different people just from them reading a literature review on what research has come out about something certain to them, and they've actually enhanced it and put it into their practice, and it's actually worked. So it kind of is key that research happens to why we know what we know today. And then you can also gain more knowledge. It's broadening your horizons and making sure you understand what you're doing, and you have all the necessary tools and the colleagues to be able to be successful in your career. And so my last slide is like being an educated person in exercise science. So I found out like the true definition of an educated person online, but you know, as we all know, it kind of varies among everyone. Everyone has their own definition. So to me personally, I believe an educated person is someone who's consistently wanting to learn more and has the ability to comprehend the information as well as apply it to life. So the reason why I consider an educated person in exercise science is that you have to know the necessary skills to get through. No matter what career someone chooses within this major, you have to be able to know what's needed to get the job done. And you also need to be able to apply knowledge into practice. So you can't just learn it and not be able to apply it if you're working in a clinician setting or even in the classroom. And you need to have the willingness to always learn more. Everything's changing in the science world every day. There's about to be a head transplant in December, so that's even new, like awesome news for scientists. So you have to be able to always learn more and keep up to date on the literature and what's going on, because crazy things can happen around the world that tend to come to the United States very quickly. And you need to keep up, read research and literature, no matter if you're a personal trainer or you're working in the PT department with your patients. A lot of people tend to do research on, something that might relate back to where you're working or what you're doing. And then also staying up to date on current fitness trends, technology, supplements, etc. In our courses, we learn about all types of ideas that you can see in the exercise science world, good, bad, maybe not worth it, maybe going to work. So it's always important to kind of keep up to date with what's going to be coming out on the market and if it's going to benefit your company or what you're doing with your clients, and understanding the pros and cons of if it's a supplement, if it's going to work, or if there's something going to happen to your patient if you're going to give it to your patient. So I love exercise science. It's kind of given me the passion and the drive to do what I want to do with the rest of my life. Yes, I might be in school till I'm 30, but it's going to give me the knowledge and be able to make a change in society.